Derek Nelson. It's my boy Shaun Washington. We're two fourths of the ETMF crew, and we're here to do our first ever video recording. We're going to do a review of Marvel Puzzle Quest on the Apple iOS. Take it away, Shaun.
For those of you who might not know, Marvel Puzzle Quest is a game continuing in the Puzzle Quest saga. Puzzle Quest is a game, basically just a Bejeweled game where you have characters fight each other. You collect 3 tiles of each color. Different colors will give you different powers depending on what character you have. That's the original Puzzle Quest. This new Puzzle Quest puts a Marvel spin on it, and it changes it from 1-on-1 battles to 3-on-3 battles.
So you have 3 characters that you use to combat, up to and including 3 characters. It could be 1, 2, or 3, or 1 character. It depends on the encounter that you're facing.
It's usually just bosses are only 1 character.
Yeah.
Boss style characters.
So this game is, first of all, it's a fun game.
It's free. Let's put that out there.
Yeah, it's a free game. It's
more
fun.
of a freemium game.
Yeah, they do
you can pay for upgrades.
Yeah, you do pay for the end game currency. It's called like ISO 9 or some
8.
weird 8, some weird like isotope that strengthens superhumans according to the story. And they also allow you the option to pay for these hero tokens, which are used as currency to buy cards, and that's how you get levels for your heroes. You buy a certain card, it comes with an ability. You merge the cards together, and then it forms a stronger card that has access to the abilities. And each ability has 5 levels of growth. And as you get a level of growth, you get the ability to increase the overall level of your character up to and including 50.
You use the ISO 8 to raise your levels.
Yeah.
And your levels are capped depending on your abilities.
Yeah. So you start off with a regular card. It has 1 ability. Let's say you win a card from a battle, then when you merge those 2 cards, provided it has a different ability, then you'll have 2. If it has the same ability, then that ability will increase by 1 level, and so it'll be level 2, it'll be stronger, but it also allows you to level up the overall card a certain amount of levels.
Before we get too far into that, we'll talk about certain characters that we have played with and or against, to include, Iron Man, Spider-Man,
he's a starter character,
Magneto, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Venom, Captain America, Thor, and their Storm. She's one of my favorite characters.
Basically, you get the Avengers. It's basically the majority of the core characters you get. And they have some few outliers. You can get Magneto, you can get Dakin.
You can get Wolverine, which is...
Wolverine's an Avenger. So
that's true.
But they're
different types.
Yeah, and they have the different cards are based off the different kind of quote-unquote eras of the Marvel characters. So if you get a classic Storm, it's the Storm from like the 90s on to the 2000s, or you can get the current iteration, which is called the Storm Modern Marvel Now Storm. And you can also get the same can be said for classic characters like Captain America. You can get the Marvel Now version, or you can get the old school version like Golden Age or whatever. So that also provides slight variations to the characters because
they have different powers.
Yeah.
The different eras that you use. You go through this game and kind of it's in the storyboard. You go from mission to mission, and you can replay missions to gain more rewards.
Yeah, usually a mission contains 4 potential rewards, and a mission will be checked complete when you access all 4 of those rewards. But it's random, so not every time will you get the next reward. Sometimes you would just get quote-unquote the same reward, and then they'll just give you a consolation prize of like 20 ISO 8 for you to level up your character.
Why don't you get into what you like about the game?
Okay, what I like about the game, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple. The learning curve for the game is very, very negligible. Once you get a new character, it takes about a battle or 2 just to figure out what that character would be good at. Once you figure out the character's powers, you can start formulating teams to handle different situations because different enemies have different play styles. For instance, you can fight Juggernaut, who's all about doing direct damage to a character. So you might
call him a tank character. To use game tropes.
He is a tank. He has massive HP, and as he gathers certain colors of jewels, he can do attacks that massively damage your characters. So one strategy I use is I use Black Widow, who has an ability to stun characters for up to 5 turns if you max out that ability. And she works well in this situation because since he's a direct damage character, keeping him from gaining, from bejeweling and gaining those jewels prevents him from using his moves, which are quite powerful, especially when he's leveled up. So that's just one way you can use certain card combinations to help you win. And like I have a character Iron Man who does a lot of damage, so that'll give me the ability to damage him and hopefully get him out the game. And that's just one potential combination against one potential combination of enemies.
There are a lot of different combinations.
There are. Another thing the game gets right is that it has that whole loot grinding thing. You want to get more cards so you can see what other characters are. One good thing they do right is that they allow you to face potential enemies that you can get those cards of. Mm-hmm. So having faced Juggernaut, I know that he is capable of doing massive damage. So when I do get the card, it's worth my time to invest in getting his other cards so that I can increase his ability so he can just become, I guess, an offensive Juggernaut. But that is one thing they do right. What about the negative, Shaun?
Well, it's not too much wrong with this game. Let's say that. I do like the game very much. However, the finding new abilities is very hard if you don't want to spend money.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to buy the gold to get new abilities and new levels, it takes a lot of time to find different abilities. And each character has 3 abilities. And
not necessarily. Some only have 2. It depends on the character.
Well, but most characters out there will have 3 abilities.
Yes, most of them have 3, but there are some that only have 2. Juggernaut's 1. He only has 2. At least that iteration. The Marvel Now Juggernaut has 2. Now, if there's an old school Juggernaut or an Ultimate version, he might have more abilities. We haven't unlocked it yet.
Right.
This game is relatively new.
Yeah, and when it's free, when you're trying to go the free way, it's hard to get the unlocks.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the abilities. It's hard to get the levels. They keep pushing Hawkeye on me. I don't know why. I don't want to really play with Hawkeye, but they keep giving him to me, and I can sell him for, the ISO 8, but it doesn't necessarily, help here. I don't really even know. One thing that I'm unsure of, I won't say it's a positive or a negative, is how many chapters in the game. I haven't unlocked a lot of them.
So far, there seems to be 4
Okay.
story chapters. They have random chapters or lightning rounds where you can face other opponents, specially made teams, I guess. And that's kind of like their player versus player component. It's not real time, which would be actually pretty interesting if they can do that. Maybe if they did some type of Nintendo Wii way where if you're near somebody, you can kind of match up. That'd be cool. But maybe that's a different iteration. This Puzzle Quest says it's like a preview version. So it might
for
be,
some reason it says Marvel Puzzle Quest preview.
Yeah, so maybe there's a full featured one down the line, and this is just to kind of see what the populace might respond to.
I don't know. I don't really like the freemium model in games because you can tell that there are other things that are better, but they want you to spend more money on it.
Yeah, they set the game up so that you can't get the best stuff, so you'll be forced to buy it. And that kind of sucks because an incentive to play the game is to have the better cards, to see that progression. And it's frustrating not being able to progress. I've been fortunate enough to progress some of the characters that I do like, so I've been having an easier time. But one thing this game does is ramp up in difficulty quickly. And some enemies get really powerful, and it's kind of hard.
Damn reason.
Exactly. It's kind of hard to level up your characters if you don't get that card. You're constantly getting characters that are jabronis. You're not going to win.
Yeah, you got level 14 characters, but you keep unlocking level 5 characters. It's kind of weird. I don't get it. I would actually rather pay like $5.99, $6.99 for the game and just be able to
get the full feature.
Yeah, get characters easier or better. And it's like characters, you can see what their other abilities are even when you don't have them. So you can keep hanging on to a character saying at some point, maybe I'll get this ability and they'll be good for me. But they kind of lock that behind the freemium model.
And if it never comes, that card is just holding a spot reserved for maybe getting somebody else you can get extra cards. The characters you get initially seem to be the most popular in that you get the most ability to level up. Storm, Iron Man, who's your starter character. Hawkeye is one they push on you. He's not particularly bad, but these characters are kind of split up into different tiers. You have damage dealers, you have support characters. He's a support character who can damage a little bit, but
I don't have to get too much into what every character does. But this overall, it's a great experience. It's really addictive. I was addicted to the first Puzzle Quest. Derek actually never played.
Yeah, you bought that, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend this game to anybody who likes Bejeweled style games and Marvel characters. It's like a perfect mix.
One thing though, and this goes in the negative column, because it's constantly connected to the internet. Plus, you have all the fancy graphics. It'll drain your battery,
and you can't play when you don't have
internet. You must be connected to the internet. So these are kind of like, I don't know why. I think that's a detriment. If you want to connect to the internet, it should be an option. But this game is so standalone, it's ridiculous. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah, but
overall, great game.
Yeah,
I definitely recommend it. Derek recommends. We'll be back at you with more video reviews from now on. We're starting a YouTube channel. It'll be part of our package with the YouTube channel. The ETMF podcast will come up if you subscribe. So look for more videos from us. YouTube.com/ETMF podcast, I believe. And if that's not it, then it will be soon enough.
Yeah. Oh, and tell them where they can find the podcast, because you should listen to that.
If you like to listen to us talk about random other things for way longer than this, that's part of the reason we did the video. ETMF podcast and your iTunes, Stitcher, at our website etmfpodcast/home or .com/home, or just etmf.com. It'll auto direct you.
Yeah, and we're on iTunes, Stitcher, all the usual suspects. So for Shaun Washington, I'm Derek Nelson. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you again. All right.